Y'all remember Valen? The dude from the Orichalcos arc who was Joey's main foe and fought by equipping himself in duel monsters? If not, then this should be a great opening selection. Number 10 are the Armor Monsters. Armor Monsters are weak machines and are unique in their main playstyle being swarming the field and creating cocktails of effects when used together, as well as redirecting attacks to other armor monsters, some of which, with powerful effects like Big Bang Blow, can burn both players for the combined attack of monsters they control and nuke the board. There are some issues with this playstyle, such as only one armor monster can attack per turn, and some of the pieces are absolutely terrible. Actually, every single one, aside from Big Bang Blow, is absolutely terrible. However, the reason that these are number 10 is the spell support that helps to swarm the field as well as facilitate link plays in the modern day. Seriously, when you have a spell that can swarm 4 armors out of the deck, a spell that can revive 4 from graveyard, and a spell that can excavate the top 10 cards and special summon any number of armor monsters from that pile while banishing the rest, yeah, that's pretty good justification to leave it at number 10. Let's just keep in mind that when they actually want to do armor things, they're absolutely terrible. Oh wow, I can attack directly with my no attack on any of them aside from like 1? Thanks, Konami. Let's see what you do with these in real life, why don't you? Those familiar with my comeback to Yu-Gi-Oh! May remember these broken monsters. However, the only thing broken about them are the lenses they use. Number 9 is saved for the Mirror Imagine monsters from the Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 manga. These cards were used by Isaac, a dude who worked for the main antagonist Eve, and fought Reiji in a 4-chapter duel that ended in his loss to manga DDD, which in general are absolutely terrible compared to the anime. Which in general are absolutely terrible compared to what they are in real life. Anyway, the main gimmick of this archetype is summoning monsters in order to boost the attack of his boss multiples of times over in order to ensure victory. However, it is a pendulum deck and focused on level 7s, so I guess it has some mileage? Fans of Zexal may know this next dude, but I'm not even sure if you know him more for his deck or the fact this duel exists only to have Yuma evolve Utopia into Utopia Ray. Fortuno, a fortune teller obsessed with Kite and who worshipped him like a god, ran a shaman deck against Yuma whose main gimmick involved getting out the 3 level 4 shamans, orange, green, and red shaman, who each can special summon a shaman from hand if condition is met. Those being an effect monster being summoned to spell activating or a trap activating, in that order. All the while using Shaman Call to bring out another from deck. Using these, the guy created, Shockmaster, because he stole it from the user like Kite does, and yet lost because Yuma managed to make Utopia to get over it. But that's not all. Fortuno then used Rainbow Shaman, a level 7, and a spell to make Big Eye, and still lost despite having 2 powerful number monsters that, one needed to be banned in real life and one was used by dragon rulers, as well as stun cards. He used stun cards. They prevented graveyard summons and hand summons. Needless to say, these guys are very situational at best. You'd be lucky if you can use them for anything even then. He got out Shockmaster through anime BS, and that's the biggest thing he could do. He made Shockmaster in this. I don't understand it. What is the dichotomy here? You guys remember the Phantom Beasts and how bad they are? Well, imagine them under the white veil of Sartorius' mind control. Your boy Chazzed up, when he was brainwashed into the Society of Light, used the White Knight monsters in his duel with Jaden after Best Pro Tag corrupted his hero deck with Ojamas in order to snap Chaz out of it. Besides being icons of the ever-so-popular Defenders of Women Online, I wasn't joking when I said the White Knight monsters were the same as the Phantom Beasts. GARDNA has the same effect as Thunder Pegasus, Swordsman is the same as Crosswing, and Lancer is the same as the Moose Rada dehorned all the way back in his Legacy of the Worthless video. The only real difference is in the boss monsters, but it's really not pretty. White Knight Lord cannot be tribute summoned despite being a level 7. Okay. Instead, you need to use Sealed Gate, a trap card that can only activate if it gets destroyed, and has you banish Lancer, Swordsman, and GARDNA to special summon Lord from deck only. I'm getting worse boss monsters flashbacks. As for Lord's effect, he ukazes you if he did not attack. He cannot be destroyed in battle, plus you take no battle damage when he does battle, and it burns for the amount of Raimei if it does destroy something. But also, it burns! Again! It burns the opponent for a stack if he's destroyed by card effect. In comparison, Phantom Lizard at least does the amount of a goddamn Hinotama if it destroys a monster and burns for double what Lord burns if popped the opponent's card effect. This was supposed to be Sartorius' gift to Chaz in order to convert Bastion and Alexis into the cult. Great to see that my boy Kumar over here cares about his brainwashed students. Fans of this channel have seen these coming, so let's rip the band-aid of pins and needles. Battle Wasps are a poor man's Black Wings. Except they only have one tuner, bunch of monsters with crappy effects, and their only real power comes through their synchros, which are somewhat alright, like Azusa, who can double the burn damage from a Battle Wasp, as well as Hama and Ballista, which actually made it in the top synchros list, so I'll give it a pass. However, in order to save more info for the eventual Dynasty of the Useless episode, and the fact that my big brain predicted they were coming, I think that's a good enough place to end it there. Back to Zexal again. We now come to the manga where Yuma faces a gauntlet of 3 number hunters made by Dr. Faker for the purpose of not only being mascots of Heartland, but also to duel and obtain numbers from duelists. If that sounds cool, it isn't, it's Zexal. Of those 3, there was a living corn pirate, electrons in physical form, and Cologne, a doll given life by Faker who may look familiar as it's the same Cologne that appears as a rank 4 Xyz in the actual game, funny enough. Anyway, so after getting mad at Tori and Kathy for wearing her outfits, she then duels Yuma with our number 5 pick, the Doll Monsters. Doll Monsters are normal monsters focused on Box of Friends and the field spell Dollhouse. Basically how her deck works is that she pops Box of Friends to spam the board with 4 doll monsters and then she destroys them. On the standby phase of where 2 or more doll monsters die, Dollhouse goes off and you get to summon doll monsters of the number destroyed -1 who have the same levels +2. To translate that in her combos, 4 level 4s became 3 level 6s, and then those level 6s became 2 level 8s. And of all those slow spamming the board, all for a rank 8, that being Zombie Stein, who was named Frankie in the manga, as if he was a fucking greaser. And yet, while this monster is powerful, it's sad to see that the main reason she lost was because manga Zombie Stein is held back by symbolism to not hurt female monsters. We were just talking about the White Knights, and look, there's another one in this archetype. Yeah, that was really something on the manga Zombie Stein's card text. Oh well, she at least became a somewhat interesting character in the manga, given that she got to basically keep her soul, even though she lost. Zexal got dark, man. Oh man, it's the original Dynasty video. How are you doing? Sitting with a bunch of views and there are some edits that I don't necessarily agree with, but hey, it's showing progress. Alchemy Beasts are an abomination used by Professor Banner in GX because alchemy. All the deck is made of is level 3 monsters that need a specific continuous spell on the field, as well as their own specific spells to bring out their own specific monsters out from the hand or deck, and they all have terrible stats and can just attack directly. Nothing more to say than my previous video covering them was one of the biggest roasts I've ever had to put out onto the internet. Go watch the first Dynasty video. It remains one of my most viewed videos of all time, but keep in mind it's second place to me getting up from a chair. Not joking, go check that. Back to back with Dynasty of the Useless, my lord! Number 3 are Cook Pals. Cook Pals were run by Reed Pepper, and good lord, why are these rip-off Madolches so horrid? The main problems boil down to the following. Useless main deck low-level monsters, a reliance of a trap and a continuous spell to mass summon the Royal Cook Pals, cards that should have been effects on the Cook Pals themselves, and a focus on high levels in Arc 5, the show that birthed pendulums, and yet Reed does not have any when he could desperately need them. Like the Alchemy Beasts, you can learn more about it in my Dynasty video where I tear these kitchen scraps apart for mocking my favorite deck of all time. Madolche Tiara Misu, just look at her, you could pinch her cheeks, you can't pinch this thing's cheeks! Staying in Arc 5, we now reach the unholiness that is the CCC archetype piloted by Riley. Reiji's little brother revealed to be sister/reincarnation of Rei, friend to Zark, who became the 4 bracelet girls while Zark became the U-boys, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Allow me to spoil all of Arc 5 for you. Trust me, you're not missing much. Anyway, so the CC monsters start with this little guy, CC Critical Eye, which cannot be used for a fusion, synchro, or Xyz summon with your own monsters. So how do you make plays? That's where her 3 core spells come into play. Montage Fusion, Critical Tuning, and Critical Overlay are all spells that allow her to make spell monsters that mirror monsters the opponent use reform to her need, and immediately fuse them, tune them, or overlay them into her CCC boss monsters, with I becoming a tuner in Tuning's case and matching the spell monster's level in Overlay's case. And of those CCC bosses, well, Water Sword and Rock Sword are clones of each other in how they take similar materials and gain the attack of all monsters on the field of their attribute. Sonic Halberd was used after she cloned Reiji's DDD Alexander and was actually kind of threatening with 3k attack up to 3 attacks if they have a wind monster on the field for some godforsaken reason. And Destruction Protection. Rock Blaster can quick effect reduce the attack of a monster the opponent controls by a stack and gains attack based on the total levels of other Earth monsters on the field times 200. It was only used against Sector Security for that triple OTK mentioned in the Worst Synchros video. Again, watch it if you haven't. And Rock Armor can detach 1 to gain attack based on the total defense of all Earth monsters, as well as negate the monster effects if it attacks an Earth monster, was pretty much the same as Rock Sword and Rock Blaster otherwise. Needless to say, this set is horrid, but a fun concept to say the least. Main flaw comes from how you need to rely on the opponent for your plays, as the spells modulate based on the level of the foe you are facing. Number 1 was No Contest. It's an archetype that was made exclusively as an in-story reason for other characters to have pendulum scales. Most likely so Yuya could feel worse like he did against Reiji when Reiji busted out pendulums himself and Yuya got emo that he wasn't special anymore. You can't smile now, Yuma. Anyway, so pendulum statues exist and I'm made sad by them. All these monsters are weak static pendulums ranging in levels that serve to give minor boosts to specific types and attributes while providing scales for the people at this tournament to use and learn how to pendulum summon, so no one had to shank Yuya behind a bar to get his scales. The only constant is their monster effect, which searches a pendulum statue from deck if they're special summoned from the extra deck. I'm not even joking about how horrible these are, given their stat gains are on par with old as heck equipped spells from the first set of the game. I mean, let's just keep in mind that these cards weren't really meant to be used with one another. They just kinda were.